stars.
Hey there, hope you're having a fantastic day in your neck of the woods. This is Michael Does Life. Thank you so kindly for clicking on this video as we continue, folks, to talk about this all-new upcoming edition of Resident Evil 3. Got some new interesting developments to cover here throughout the course of this video. So with that said, strap your seatbelts on because we're getting started right here and right now. Got a tweet here that I would like to read out to you. It says, Capcom has also noted that for the rest of the fiscal year 2019-2020, Monster Hunter World Iceborne will be their only big AAA release, which implies no heavy hitter in early 2020 and that Capcom is probably in gen transition mode as well. Now, that is a lot to take in. And I know you might be wondering, well, Michael, how does that really translate to this all-new upcoming edition of Resident Evil 3? Well, let me explain. It seems like there won't be a big AAA release anytime soon, and of course any Resident Evil game, maybe outside of Revelations, is going to be a big AAA release. So at least for the fiscal year 2019-2020, there are no big AAA titles in the pipeline from Capcom. The only thing that they're seemingly concerned about right now is Monster Hunter World Iceborne. So you might be thinking, well, Michael, okay, but does this mean that this all-new upcoming edition of Resident Evil 3 is canceled? What does this really mean for not only this all-new upcoming edition of Resident Evil 3, but for the future of Resident Evil in general? Well, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that there still is a possibility that Capcom may very well tease this all-new upcoming edition of Resident Evil 3. Just because they're not going to release any big AAA title for the fiscal year 2019-2020, it doesn't mean that they can't tease something, you know what I mean? And with that said, the latest rumor on this all-new upcoming edition of Resident Evil 3 has the game dropping in January of 2020, which of course, we go back to what was said here, that doesn't seem like it's in the cards. However, with that said, just for the sake of this video, let's go ahead and presume that that's still the case. Well, Capcom would have to show it off sooner rather than later. And E3 is just a few weeks away, folks. So E3 2019 may very well be that time and place where Capcom pulls that curtain back to surprise all of us on an announcement about this all-new upcoming edition of Resident Evil 3. So look, just because they don't have a big AAA title coming other than Monster Hunter World Iceborne for the fiscal year 2019-2020, that doesn't rule out the possibility of this all-new upcoming edition of Resident Evil 3 still being on the table, you know what I mean? Of course, time is gonna tell, folks. Time is ultimately going to be the deciding factor. But here's the reality of the situation, folks. Something is probably coming sooner rather than later, and I do feel like right around E3, maybe not necessarily at E3 because we know Sony pulled out, so I'm not necessarily sure where Capcom would announce anything, but maybe right around that time frame, Capcom could very well pull that curtain back in a way that makes sense to tease this all-new upcoming edition of Resident Evil 3. I mean, do you guys remember how they announced this all-new edition of Resident Evil 2? The developer came out and said, hey, we do it. And that very well could be what happens here with this all-new upcoming edition of Resident Evil 3. With that said, let's continue to push really hard and really strong. Show Capcom your support. Show them that you are indeed still clamoring for this all-new upcoming edition of Resident Evil 3 by clicking the like button on this video. And I'll see you guys soon with more word on this all-new upcoming edition of Resident Evil 3. Thank you so kindly for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Take care.